Hey everyone. Okay, so this chapter is interesting because in a lot of ways it kind of it kind of tricks you a bit into thinking this chapter is going to be about Izuku confronting his past and his demons. And while there are definitely elements of that boiling to surface near the end of the chapter, ultimately it takes a turn and says, yeah, this chapter is much more about Nana confronting her own demons, her own past, her own mistakes, and just acknowledging that for however much Nana had told herself, or even believed what she was doing was good, the good and noble route, what she had done was the good and noble choice. At the end of the day, none of that changes the fact that the only thing she succeeded in is fucking up her son's life, or at least in how, in how Kotaro had perceived it, which in itself gave rise to the current circumstances. And I do like how he did get this closure for her character, and just seeing her take responsibility by admitting to both Kotaro and herself that, yeah, she was weak. She made so many wrong choices, and if only she was there for him and for Tenko, then maybe none of this would have happened. None of what had ultimately cursed the Shimura family would have even happened. Like it on even like I still very much believe that obviously like at some that obviously Shigaraki's quirk would have still manifested. But I think again, if Shigaraki had just received that support system he needed, if he was around a loving family, someone who was there for him in order to help him through it all, I think ultimately, like, there would have been a greater chance of none of what's been happening now would have happened. I also really like how Horikoshi framed all of this through the viewpoint of the photograph that Kotaro had kept, because in a lot of ways, that photograph is the thread of fate that connects the family's history and struggles and the family's history together. So using it as a narrative device to show these memories was a really good creative choice in my mind. Now, with that said, obviously there's obviously that ending we need to talk about. Because while Nana brought some manner of closure to one side of the Shimura family's curse, it hasn't reversed course entirely on especially on the very thing that had pretty much brought Shigaraki to his breaking point, embracing the darkness and becoming the person we would know him to become. And honestly, I'm really curious just what kind of direction Horikoshi is going to take with this, because the setup in itself feels very much like Horikoshi is setting the stage for Izuku to pull a talk no jutsu, but at the same time, the way this whole thing has been framed, with Izuku confronting all his darker self and even those shades of the villains he's faced in the past, as well, and just knowing what we know, I think it is going to take much more than that for Izuku to save Shigaraki's last breath of innocence from being snuffed out, but by the darkness that consumed him, because him accidentally killing, because for whatever other family problems, like Shigaraki had, killing his dog was the final turning point that basically turned him to villainy, full stop. And the way these memories are playing out, that's not something Izuku can change because it's already happened. So that in itself is what begs the question, what is it that Izuku can even do? What can he even say to an emotionally broken child who's lost everything and all done in by his own hand? How is Izuku supposed to save someone like that, and how can Horikoshi present it without it feeling contrived or corny? That's kind of my biggest question after reading this chapter, honestly. Like, there's kind of a bit of a question mark on how exactly Izuku can actually, like, Izuku can actually save Shigaraki from himself at this point. And I don't even know if he can, frankly. Um, which, to that end, I have to say, I'm hoping this isn't the last time we see Izuku having to confront his darker half or even the shades of those villains he faced, because I feel really having to confront those parts of himself might be one of the keys to finding the answer he needs to save Shigaraki. But in this particular chapter, all he really did was dismiss them away, and I guess that was meant to show he's already come to terms with those parts of his life now and is ready to face down his final hurdle. But I think that's all the more reason he should actually take time to listen to what they have to say, because even though he is resolved to face this to the end, there's still this level of there's still this level of 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 night of naivete that I don't think Izuku fully understands yet, especially after what he just witnessed with Nana. I think that like that look he has at the end of the chapter, staring down like young young Tenko Shimura hugging his dog, holding his dog desperately, like it's it's little scenes like that that show that I don't think Izuku was prepared as he thought he was or wasn't even prepared to witness that in particular. Although I might be reading too much into the last panel, but in either case, like I think it is in that final panel that even Izuku, I think, realizes what I had just said, which is that it's going to take much more than a heartfelt speech to actually save, in order to save Araki from himself. Like, he has to convince him to actively not hate the world, and oh boy, I'm not looking forward to experiencing that moment with the dog again. Although maybe it's also good that this series is on break. Is on break, so it gives me time to prepare for it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll, be sure to notification bell with the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Night signing off. Later, everyone.